And we are live there, but we're not quite live yet on Amazon because it's waiting for it to hear. There we go. Now we can hit it. 3, 2, 1. Wait, I don't think it worked. 3, 2, 1. We're live everywhere. Hello, everybody, and welcome to How to Stay Motivated. I am so happy that you're here with us today. I'm Miriam Schulman, and assisting me today is the marvelous Addie. Okay, so real quick, I'm Miriam Schulman. I'm the author of Artpreneur, and I'm also host of the Inspiration Place podcast. And I can't wait to get to know you. So if you can let me know in the chat, just you can comment in the chat to introduce yourself. Let us know who you are. If you haven't already, share who you are, what kind of art you do, and where you live in the world so we can get to know you. And then make sure that you hit the follow button. That way you can get notifications every time that we're live. So you'll see the button right underneath this video on Amazon. And if you want to catch up to any past live streams, you can do that too. Just go to schulmanart.com/live streams. So that's how you can catch up to all the past live streams. In case you missed any. Okay, now we have some free gifts for you today just for showing up. But before we get there, and you'll have to unmute yourself every time, Addie. So tell us who's here today, because I want to just say hello to our friends.
Okay, so Paula Manning Lewis, who's from the Artist Incubator, is here with us. And we are waiting for a few more chats, so please don't be afraid to let us know if you're watching us.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so let's talk about what the free gifts are. So first of all, you can start reading Artpreneur for free. Chapter 1, Choose to Believe. And you can get that either with that QR code or schulmanart.com/believe. And if you want to, instead of doing it now, you can just take a screenshot of this and then you can do it afterwards. So that's gift number 1, is a free chapter of the book. And the second free gift are journal exercises for productivity. So again, I'm sharing the QR code, and I don't know if we have a URL for that. I don't think we do. Okay, so we just have a QR code for the journal exercises. So that is something else you can get for free, because today we're talking all about how to get motivated, or really, how to stay motivated. Sometimes we get motivated, but staying motivated is a lot harder. So let me know in the chat if you have trouble getting motivated. I want to hear from you. Like, is that something you have trouble with? Is it you get stuck? How do you feel about that? Do you have trouble getting yourself to do even things that you like? What is it you have the most trouble getting done in terms of your productivity? And we'll move ahead, but we'll do a few shout outs in a moment. Here's what I know from coaching lots of artists, hundreds of artists. Most artists struggle not because they aren't working hard enough, but because they focus on the wrong things. And that's why today I'm going to share with you productivity wisdom to help you focus. This is part of a series of live streams to put these main takeaways into action. And last one, we got a lot of great feedback from that, the 7 habits of highly productive artists. So if you are watching this live, you can watch this later. You don't no need to stop here, though. And a lot of what we're talking about today is based on chapter 11 of my book, Artpreneur, that's called Stay Inspired. So in the chapter, I break down my entire productivity system for you. But we're going to be sharing a lot of hacks that are going to really help you today stay motivated, a lot of tips and tricks. All right, so let me tell you first about Margaret. It's not her real name. She's a real person. She was a real client. She shared with me that she was procrastinating. And when I asked her, why do you think you're procrastinating? She says, well, I lack confidence. And I told her, actually, it's the other way around because the definition of confidence is full trust in yourself. It's belief in powers, the trustworthiness of a reliability person or thing. So the more you procrastinate, in other words, the more you don't do what you say you're going to do, the more you'll lose confidence. And the more times you do what you say you're going to do, you'll increase your confidence. So following through with your commitments builds your confidence, which is ultimately going to increase your self-trust. Now, if you lack confidence, it's because you're not following through on your commitments. So, step one is to write down your goals. Whoops. I accidentally am hearing myself echo. So, step one is to write down your goals. So, I would love for you to share in the chat, what are your goals? I usually like to brainstorm in a journal. I love art journaling. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I actually linked up below the exact journal that I'm using in this photograph. So, Addie, that is the visual journal. And the reason why I like it is the pages are really heavy and they can take a lot of paint without buckling and a lot of pen. And I like to, even when I'm using markers, I like to use the Posca pens, which I believe are also linked in there. I have a couple of my favorite ones here. I like the ones that are pastel. I just like the colors. I mean, you can use whatever colors you like, but those are the types that I'm using in that photograph right there. And we've linked up the Posca pens. And the other thing I like to use in my journaling is the black gel pen. And I use the black gel pen also for outlining things as well as just my regular pen writing. And my family is always stealing these because they're great for the crossword puzzles in the New York Times. They're great for everything else. So I actually buy these pens by the box and we go through them quite a bit. And if you are an art journaler too, let me know in the chat, like if you like to art journal, because I always like to get to know you guys. All right. When you're setting your goals, and Addie, do we have any like goals that we want to shout out or anything, people comments that we need to shout out right now?
Paula says she's having trouble getting motivated because there seems to be so many business tasks that she has to do and she doesn't know what to do first. And
Okay.
Solomon says he struggles with consistent motivation.
Okay. All right. You're not alone and you're in the right place. All right. And then share in the chat what your goals are. The more times you say it out loud, whether you write it down, you share it with another person, it's like that Oprah Winfrey quote, you're the first one to hear it and it lets you and the universe know how important this is to you. Okay. It's also important to dream big. Make a big goal because you're never going to go past your dream. So if your goal is too small, that's going to limit you. You want to dream big enough so that you're reaching for something nice and big. You also want to stay in an abundant mindset. And that is why affirmations are so important. Now, some of the things that I use to help me stay in an abundant mindset. I absolutely love the affirmations in the Louise Hay book. I Can Do It. One of the reasons I like what she has here is because they are good bridge affirmations to help you stay motivated. Sometimes when we try to use affirmations, we use them in the wrong way. An affirmation is really just a thought that you need to practice in order to turn it into a belief. So let's say your thought was, an affirmation that you tried to use that maybe didn't work is, I want to lose weight, or I'm thin. And your brain's going to say, no, you're not. No, you're not. But if you use an affirmation instead, like, and this is one of the reasons I have this water bottle here, is I love to drink water. That is a really powerful affirmation, because the more water you drink, the healthier you'll be. This is actually a tumbler that I did get on Amazon, and I did link it for you. I do bring it to the gym with me, and I fill it up, and it just helps me feel like I'm being a little bit more environmentally conscious instead of going through plastic bottles. I always get lipstick on stuff though. And I keep it on my desk too. So using affirmations is really powerful. The other way that I use affirmations, I'm just going to pull my microphone off so you can still hear me, is I use them inside of my planner. And I'm always getting asked what kind of planner I use. So we did link the exact planner inside the carousel that I use. It's a planner pad. I always stick stickers on it every year to decorate. One of the accessories that I linked up for the planner that I do recommend are these tabs for the year, for the months. It just helps you find things faster. And then what I do is I will put my affirmations in there. So let's see. Here we go. So it's exactly what we're talking about with the water one. You can see this here. Water is my favorite beverage. I drink lots of water to cleanse my body and my mind. So I think it's really powerful when you do this style of art journaling, when you really want to turn a thought into a belief. Remember, a belief is just a thought that you practice a lot. So what happens is when I'm coloring it in, your brain, your conscious brain is only like up to 3% of your brain power, and the other 97% of your brain is unconscious, your subconscious brain. So when you're coloring, it helps your subconscious brain kind of go to work in the background to put this affirmation, like really help it sink in. So that is a health one that I have. Another one I have here is, I am grateful for my healthy body. I love life. And I also have ones in terms of abundance. So let's see if I can find one that has to do with abundance. Okay, here's an abundance one. So life supplies all my needs in great abundance. And like I said, many of them I got from the Louise Hay book. Okay. Almost knocked over my coffee just now. All right. So do we have any more questions about that? Anything so far? Any questions or comments, Addie?
A lot of people share their goals, and Paula says she'd like to make a six-figure income by selling her art.
Beautiful.
And Lowell said the number one goal is to find time to create art. And Solomon said he's scared, but he'd like to make $15,000 by selling art by November.
Beautiful. You can totally do that. All right, let's move forward. Okay, so let's do a mindset check-in. This is something you can do right now. Hopefully you have a pen and paper available. But as we talk about your goals, whether it's to make $15,000 by November or make a six-figure, what's coming up for you? What you need to do to stay in that abundant mindset is write down all your fears about your goals. Are you afraid of failing? Are you thinking of problems that might happen if you succeed? Question every single thought and then start to label them. Are they thought distortions? So thought distortions are if you're doing all or nothing thinking. That's something like, well, nobody wants to buy my art. That's a thought distortion because it's probably not nobody. Could there be some people? No one buys art in my town. That would be another one. Mind reading. She won't like it. You don't know what somebody else is thinking. So that's mind reading. Fortune telling, that's trying to predict the future. So if any of what your fears are things that aren't absolutely true, question them, label them, see if you can reframe them as more positive thoughts. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, we're up to step 2. Oh, step 1 was the make a goal. Step 2 is start with the big picture. So you always want to break your goal into milestones. So let's say your goal was to have a brand new website. That's a big goal. So you're going to have to break it down into maybe find someone who's going to photograph your art. Maybe you need to write your about page. So these are all different stepping stones that need to get done that are smaller projects. Because if you always put down build your website as a goal for the week, that's going to shut you down because you can't possibly do that in a week. But perhaps finding someone to build your website or someone to photograph your art or write the about page, these are all things that could be done in a week. So that's what you're going to want to focus on is what can be done in a week and then what can be done in a day. And these are the task-based goals. So again, with selling your art. So a goal, the outcome might be you want to sell $15,000 worth of art, but what needs to happen? Well, you have to ask people to buy it. So then how do you do that? Well, are you going to do that in person? So then what needs to happen? Well, are you going to need to look for an art show? And then maybe you need to apply to an art show. So keep going backwards, work backwards from your end goal and see what all the steps are that you need to take to get you there. And of course, we talked about sharing your goals. That always helps. And we did say share your goal in the chat. Maybe I have the slide in the wrong order, but that's okay. Once you have your task-based goals, you're going to want to create a schedule around it. So I'm just going to show you what that might look like. So I have January. Let's see. So January I was away at a conference, so that week isn't good. But let's pick a different week that would be more typical. I don't have very many typical weeks, do I? Okay. So here is like what a plan might look like. So this is why I like the planner pad is because I can plan my week out. I put in when am I exercising? So you'll see I'll have yoga, team meeting. Right here is a task I need to do, record the podcast. Here's a coaching call with my inner circle members. And then here's perhaps I'm meeting with different clients. That's this as well. Friday, I don't meet with clients. That's when I get to do stuff for myself. All right, so you create a schedule that has to do with what your goals are for the week. So, for example, my goal was to do the podcast. So I had to make sure I schedule the time to get that done. You want to block your time. I just showed you how to do that and plan every week. Also, it's very helpful to batch content. So one thing that we do inside the incubator, I do it. I encourage my team members to do it. I'll try to say, okay, I want to do the commercials for 2 different podcasts and plan it. Or Addie will create the blog post for 2 podcasts, not just for 1 at a time. Although sometimes she tells me she likes to do things 1 at a time. Right, Addie? She's laughing. You can't see her, but I can see her and she's laughing. You will be faster if you try to do things as a batch. It's kind of like making cupcakes. Making 1 cupcake at a time is very time consuming. Making 12 at a time is going to take, you're going to get a lot more done. You also want to incorporate exercise in your schedule, just like you saw how, that's the first thing in my day. I have a much more productive day if I can exercise in the morning and my day does not begin until 10 o'clock because I'm always making sure that I am exercising every day. And for some clients when I work with, that doesn't mean that you have to be doing yoga and Pilates. It could just be walking. I call it movement time because maybe you're doing physical therapy. I don't know, whatever it is that you're doing, As long as you're moving your body, it counts. And step 4 is tracking progress. But before we get there, Addie, do we have any more questions? So we wanted to, questions or comments?
Well, we don't have new comments, so please send in your comments or questions if you have any, but we do have some followers. So welcome to the Inspiration Place.
Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to keep on going. Step 5 is to celebrate your wins. And you want to practice counting your wins. So you want to write down your goals every day. One of the ways that I like to do that, again, this shouldn't surprise you, it's inside of my planner. So I create a place for me to track my wins. So I'm going to just show you over here. I like having a place to put it. This is where I put it in my planner, and I write them down as you go because it's easier to focus on the negative than the positive, and you want to get into the habit of focusing on what's working. And sharing your wins in a group is always more powerful. So if you have any wins that you want to share today, post them inside of the group. Inside of the chat, I mean, because we would love to be able to share with you what your wins are. Okay. All right. So like I said, the reason why you want to focus on wins is because you want to focus on what's already working. And step 6 is enlist help. Now, I just want to share a little insider thing. So Anna made these slides, and she had a picture of Annie and Addie on the slide. I'm not sharing my help with you. So that's why I have Mickey Mouse and the Sorcerer's Apprentice with the broom. So yeah, we wish we could just make some help by waving a magic wand like that. Let me move back on to our training. Okay, so but the idea is you want to outsource anything that can be done faster, cheaper, or better by somebody else. It does not pay for you to learn how to build a website when it's a lot faster to have someone else do it for you who already knows how to do it, especially something they're only going to do once and probably never again. And of course, invest in a coach. So you want help from people who help you get things done. You want help from above and peer support. All these things are important. All right, we are at the last step, which is mastering the emotional side of productivity. So this is about choosing a word or a theme. If you have a word or a theme, share it in the chat. We would love to hear what your word is. My word for the year is flow. But you can do any word that works for you. I always think that a word is a great rallying point, and I prefer doing words over resolutions. So this year my word is flow, and there's lots of words you can choose. These are words that are great for goal setting. So committed, determined, driven, inspired, motivated, disciplined, focused, certain, decisive, excited, curious. Those are all words that will help motivate you to action. Okay, so I do see some people sharing their words. Do you want to shout them out, Addie?
Yeah, Solomon says his word is alchemy, and Paula says her word is motivation.
Beautiful. We love that. Love that. Okay, so let's move along. Meditation is also a really great way to quiet the inner critic and help you stay motivated. And ruminating, stop ruminating. If you find yourself ruminating on the same thought over and over again, what I like to do is write it down. sometimes just the act of writing down something that's stuck in your brain, it's like a record stuck in your head, will actually help you stop thinking about it. I like to think about this as like in Harry Potter, Dumbledore with the pensieve, he would siphon off extra thoughts, get rid of them. You can siphon off any thoughts that are not necessary by writing them down in a journal. Okay, so I have some more hacks for you. So I brought a lot of goodies, that kind of things that help me stay productive so that I have a beautiful and inspiring day. So the first thing is simplifying your beauty routine. So I have basically 5 products that I use. Maybe it's a little more than 5, but this is what I use every day. Let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 things that I use. So it's a 5-minute beauty routine. I also helps me feel confident when I'm in front of the camera. So this is all I have on today and nothing more. I have on this L'Oreal serum. And this one is actually empty, so I have to order more, but I've been using this for years, and it kind of gives that glow to your face. It almost looks a little bit like AI-ified. I use this all over my face. And then this one, and this one is also just about empty. This is the Terry. And this one, I just put it like here and here and here, and sometimes right under my chin. And it kind of gives it that look that I have a little bit of sun on my face, but it's just not a lot. That's all the makeup I need. This and this. No, I have no other makeup on other than that. And then on my lips, I have this one. So it is kind of like a very natural color. And then I have this lip gloss over it. And this lip gloss, I think it's clear when it comes, but because I'm always using it on top of this, it ends up getting tinted because I'm always kind of wiping my lipstick back into here. So these two, and these both have hyaluronic acid in it, which is supposed to make your skin look younger. I don't know if that actually works. I just like the way it looks, and it's like it's fast and simple. And then mascara. And this is my big trick. It's this brow thing from Selena Gomez. And again, like you can barely see the writing because now like I need a new one. I've used it up. But what I like about it, it has both a pencil and a brush on it. And then something for the bags under my eyes. That's it. That's all the makeup I use. I don't know if you guys were expecting to get any beauty tips, but I feel like it's important in terms of staying productive is not wasting too much time on a morning routine. Also, less time spent on my hair. So when I want to spend time on my hair, I get out the curling iron. But when I don't have time to do anything with my hair, there's a couple of things that I'm sharing in the carousel that do help. So one of them is there's a package of clips. And it's pretty inexpensive because it's like there's like 12 of them, Addie, in there.
Yeah, it's a 12-pack.
Yeah. So I have these. I actually got one package for me and one package for my daughter. I totally could have just split it with her, but they're all over the house and I never can find one. So this way, I mean, if I didn't have so many, I would never be able to find one, but I have a couple in my bathroom, a couple in my nightstand, a couple in my gym bag. And then the ultimate time saver is the hat. So especially if you're an artist and you don't want to get paint in your hair, this is great. And women in New York, you pretty much see we're all walking around in Yankees hats. So I have a few of them. I don't know. Which one do you like the best? The tan or I'll show you. You can see how bad the hair looks underneath. I have a white one and I have a black one. I don't know. You can let me know in the comments which one you like the best. Okay, I'm going to just peek on the comments. All right. So Paula says she uses a headband and chapstick. Love that. Okay, cool. All right, we're going to move back on to here. So another thing that is important to stay motivated is to have an inspiring environment. So I've included a couple of things in the carousel that are things that I actually have in my home that help me stay motivated. So I'm going to talk about first what's behind me. So these boxes, they come in a set of 3. And I know, Saul, you mentioned you want to make more time for journaling. So this box here, of course, the biggest one is the one that contains all of my pens. And I keep this on my coffee table in front of the television so that if I'm just sitting hanging out with my husband, if we're watching the TV, that it encourages me to pull out my journal supplies because they're right there. The one right above it is has all the remote controls in it. So these 2 are on my coffee table. This one over here stays by my front door. I keep my keys on it. So this comes in a set of 3, but I split it up. And then this back here, I just wanted to show you. Actually, let me show you close up. So this one, it's DECOR that I found on Amazon. It goes on my coffee table. So all these things just kind of look pretty, and it just helps me stay calm. I also had shared last week with you one of my easels, but it had sold out. So I ordered this other easel, and Addie, you can show them in the carousel. These easels, these are really good for you to show your artwork on. So I'm using it today to put my books on top of. But this is a really good thing if you're going to an art fair to have a very modern looking easel, because what you can do is not only put like you have a painting on canvas, obviously can go there, but even if you're selling prints, I'll just show you that I will usually have a table at an art fair, and I like to bring easels with me because you can put some of your matted prints on top of these types of easels as well. So these are really affordable because it comes in a set of 2. The one that I showed you last week had sold out. So I ordered these and they are just as nice. So that's what this is about. We also linked up for you in the carousel the workbook, which is actually brand new. We just did a new version. We have the 2nd edition just came out. And then right behind me is this blanket and this chair, this white chair. So I like to decorate these days in a lot of neutrals because especially when we work with a lot of color, if you work with a lot of color in your art, you want your environment to be more neutral, and it just makes me a little more calm. But obviously you can use whatever colors you want. Addie, do I have any questions so far we need to talk about?
No questions so far, but Zippy says he likes or she likes the tan cat, and so does Solomon. So tan
Okay,
looks great.
beautiful. Okay, so we already talked about this before, and this is about to stay motivated, making sure you drink enough water. Okay, and now we're just going to sum up like what your takeaways are, and I would love for you to share your takeaways in the chat as well. So here's what entrepreneurs need to believe. Each time you do what you say you're going to do, you bolster your self-trust. You're not going to go any further than your dream, so dream big. Learning how to set goals and then manage your priorities will enable you to focus on your valuable time and on what you really need to focus on. And awe-inspired actions taken, not just desired outcomes, count as wins. And here are your marching orders. Write down your goals. Start with the big picture. Break your goals into milestones. Track your progress. Celebrate your wins along the way. Enlist help. Use a word as a rallying point for a motivational push, and meditate to quiet your mind. Okay, so we have some free gifts for you today just for showing up. So I'm going to share them with you again. So you can start reading Artpreneur for free. There is the QR code, or you can go to schulmanart.com/believe. We have the journal exercises for productivity. And I'll just leave that QR code up a little bit, but you can always take a screenshot of it to come back to it later. Make sure you hit the follow button to get notifications for our next live. And you can watch all past live streams on this channel, schulmanart.com/live streams. Okay, so is there any last thoughts or questions that I need to talk about before we say goodbye?
Solomon says his takeaways are celebrating wins, writing goals, speaking out goals, and writing out the ruminations.
Beautiful. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining me here today. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Until then, stay inspired. Bye for now.